Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. On today's show, we're talking about sort of forgetting the hype of AI, and we want to focus today on actual demos, not necessarily things that have done as far as AI demos or something we've run, but something that we've seen and sort of verifiable. Like this isn't just future state or looking at AI demos that are like, hey, someday we're going to be able to do this, and you realize that somebody on the back end has sort of cobbled it together. But if you wanted to use it, it wouldn't really use it. So today it's all about like the actual live demos that we think are pretty cool that we've seen. Certainly a lot has come out over the last couple of weeks in this area as well. And that's really it. That's the idea of the show, is just to share with you some of the things we think are really cool. And again, things that are already out there and you can actually use yourself or build if you have the know-how. So this is the Daily AI Show. Today is May 23rd, 2025. With me so far, we have Beth and Jimmy, but I know Carl is joining as well. So it'll be the four of us today, and then we'll kind of dive in. Don't forget, we are here. Sorry, as always, the mowers are wonderful on Fridays.
Can't hear.
Yeah, Beth's like can't hear it. Like I wish I could tell. I wish I could hear it. The don't forget, we're here Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern live. So we're doing this show. If this is the first time you've ever hung out with us, thank you. Welcome. If you like what we're doing, like, subscribe, whatever you think is right. But we are here Monday through Friday. So come back and hang out with us more. And you can also hang out with us live if you happen to be available during 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. You can join us over on YouTube in our wonderful chat that is going on right now. We already have tons of comments in there for today, which is fantastic. And if you are in the chat, would love it if you would share a link, or if you would share just an idea of something you've seen in terms of like, hey, this kind of blew me away, and it's apparently out there. It could be in healthcare, it could be in whatever industry. It doesn't have to be something you're doing. Just, this is the be about it type show, right? We've done these before where we want to really just focus on things that are moving the needle today, as opposed to what gets easy to do, and we certainly talk about it on the show, things that are future state or just over the next hill, but it's not necessarily something you can play or manipulate today. So that's it for now. Let's get into this. Who out of the group here has like the one they're itching to show the most? Like who's that? Jimmy, I kind of feel like, I don't want to call you out, but like I feel like you probably have one that's pretty cool. But anybody else that wants to jump in on this, who has the best one to start off with?
I can start for sure. I've got a few. I I asked O3 for a little help to organize these, but some of the ones that I wanted to do was a focus on things like AI and good or for good, and AI in science, right? Because I love AI and science. And so there was a couple that I thought was really, really interesting, and some a little more whimsical than others. But there are a few projects out there that people can do, everyday people can do, to either, there's one where you could uh, build a SMS bot for to notify you about floods in your neighborhood. So that uses the Flood Hub API, and you can work with any kind of automator like N8N or Zapier. And the key thing is the Twilio and their capabilities of building out or getting that SMS to you. And another one, which I thought was really interesting, though this might have a much smaller demographic, but apparently there's a there's a group called ColabFold, right? Where citizen scientists do protein folding, right? And there's a Discord group for this and whatnot, and you can use Google Colab and a couple of other tools to do protein folding. And this would help with identifying different protein compositions, and this goes towards like disease identifying. And in that vein, apparently there is an Android app that was built to be a malaria screener. And so you can load this onto your phone to help screen for malaria. And there's a few other ones. So if we want to, if I wanted to highlight anything here, let me pull up the since we're kind of focusing on the Twitter side of things.
Mm.
I will post this in our chat here, where they're talking about the protein folding. Um, where essentially you can use ColabFold and AlphaFold to be your citizen scientist and help with the process of actually folding proteins. So I thought that was the my top one. There's even a Google Doc here that can talk about how it breaks down. Let me get that link for you as well to be shared, and people can and follow along. Um, yeah, so that's the first one that I got. Do you want to see the? I can pull up the actual Twitter
Yes.
thread if you want. Yes. Okay. Cool. I'll share that.
Yeah, I would say this is definitely a more of a show and tell. Obviously, we'll describe anything for our folks that are, listening but not watching. But I think these shows are always a little better because, like, you always know, like, oh, that sounds really interesting. I want to see that. Well, you always know you can come over to Spotify because there's the video version there, or YouTube, and see, see what we shared on the screen. So I think it's a good way to do it for sure.
Okay. All right. It is there we go. Okay, I was just trying to find it on the list here. All right. So okay. So yeah, so this is a Twitter post from Jan Kaczynski, and he goes into a document in which you can which talks about this whole collab fold tutorial that you can go through. I can also, let me see if I can bring up an actual breakdown of what it is. I think I think in terms of what being able to show uh, what the end demo of is, this is probably not the best visual example of them, but this is a breakdown of how you can use this protein fold at home. Essentially, you can what tools that you need to load and contribute to the overall product. There's also a Discord channel that you can join to contribute your findings and your processes to the overall group. And so this this is a real world example of you being a citizen scientist to help the overall disease identification and process of finding cures, eventually finding cures for various diseases or drug applications and things like that.
Yeah, this reminds me, Jimmy. I mean, Justin said, instead of a codeathon, citizen scientists are having a vibe coding collab, protein folding contest. What a time to be alive! And it does remind me of what I kind of remember. I'm sure there's 1,000 examples of this, but the one that comes to mind is like, your citizen astrologist, I guess would be the right word for it, where like people were basically looking at pictures of satellite imagery, I guess it would be, or ground level telescopes to the sky, and
Astronomers, not
astrologers, not
astrologists.
astrologists. Yeah, that would be
Astrologist is
fine.
Pisces and
Yeah, right,
Aquarius.
right, right.
Yeah.
Astronomers, thank you. So looking to the sky and identifying, new stars are all sorts of different things. Because there was, readily available maybe like imagery that they could look at and things like that. And, I think Justin's point is relevant, and what you're saying too, Jimmy. Like, it is kind of what a time to be alive. The idea that you could be sitting at home and have a really big passion for whatever your reasons are for like what protein folding and uncovering different things with AI and proteins might do. And we've certainly seen news story after news story after news story over the last 2 years of where AI is making a massive impact there with like AlphaFold 3 and things like that. But how cool is it that people are able to literally sit at home and with not a terrible lot of setup beyond maybe your typical high speed internet connection or a suitable computer, that you can be part of something that may cure future diseases, may help, children live longer. There's all sorts of like so many cool instances of this that I think are super cool. So I think AI is just gonna, like, this is a great example, but AI is going to make this possible for a lot more people who otherwise probably would not be involved, but maybe have a passion for something, but it's just not what they make money at or what they can't devote their time. And they're going to be able to sit at their computer or maybe on their edge devices and actually make uh, an impact on all of society and maybe health and stuff. It's very, very cool. It's very cool. All right, that's the first one to get up. I think that's an awesome, like, something in place working right now. Who else? Carl, Beth, do you guys have some top, you know, be about it AI examples that you want to share?
I do. Carl looked like he was getting ready. Are you? No. Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll do it now.
Okay. So what I'm going to start with is what I'm going to start with is sharing the screen before I start to talk about the screen that I'm going to share. In Google's announcements, they announced that the Colab notebook Colab research part of their free amazing tools have an upgrade. So last night we were talking about the show and views and a bunch of stuff. And because we're a show and we want you to view it. So what I did was very simple. And this, if no one's talking about it yet, we are going to coin the term vibe evaluation, because yes, that is totally what we were doing, was a little vibe evaluation here. And there we go. I'm going to share that. Brian, no, there we go. Got it. Okay. So, YouTube lets you download your stats, right? If you have a YouTube channel, you go to studio.google.com and you get the ability to download your files. These are all our files from 2024 and 2025 that show views based on traffic source. You can see I literally uploaded them and said, analyze these YouTube statistics and write a summary about how the show is doing and identify steps and recommendations for growing the show based on the data. And we would like to say the show is doing lovely. Thank you, and tell your friends, because we're not going anywhere. But they say happy to help. That's literally what I wrote. It does a little vibe evaluation, gives me a plan, just like Vibe Coders now. Do I want to change anything? No, I don't really want to change anything. So go ahead. There's a button that shows up that says execute plan. And then it does the stuff. Literally. Here we go. We see the data is loading. We see we have subtasks. We are doing all of the analysis there. We do a bunch of pieces of looking at top shows. We do a bunch of other things here. And then it just starts generating the graphics. And graphic after graphic after graphic. And then it asks if I'm good, if I want anything else in terms of next things that we want to do. This was kind of mind-blowing. And then I can ask questions, right? Like I can enter prompt here. I can do a bunch of things to now talk with my data. This was 100% free. And it took, does it tell me how long it took? I think it took 8 minutes, maybe. And so one of the keys here is that I didn't need to know the kind of analysis that I was asking for. Literally just uploaded the CSV files. That's my that's my mind-blowing be about it kind of stuff.
It is mind-blowing. I had somebody, Beth, say to me with something similar to this, and they're like, I was talking to them live on a call, and I was not showing this, but I was showing something that was running in the background. And it took about not 8 minutes, but maybe about 6 minutes. And it was impressive, right? What it did in the 6 minutes or whatever like that. And the person's like just straight face natural reaction was like, could we do it faster? I was like, how quickly we have come, have gone from, the 2 years ago where people would have fallen out of their chairs after this 6 months. And this person just straight faced me on a call that, I was talking about what we could do. And they're like, could it be done faster? Because I feel like, my folks would be hanging around waiting for this. And I was like, your folks don't do this now. Never mind the fact that it takes 6 minutes. It would normally take an hour, and they're not doing it at all. But it's like, it's just funny to me. Like, as I saw that, you're like, it took 8 minutes. I'm like, that's amazing. But
Yeah.
also people are going to be like, 8 minutes. I don't know. Is that all it can do at 8 minutes? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if you have some data that you have access to and you want to like be able to go back and forth and ask questions of it, the one thing that I would say in the context of this, Ali Miller actually put out a really great post on X after Google I/O, and it's a letter, right? So it says, "Dear Google, I'm gonna need you to give me a better Sheets Gemini app, right? Like I'm gonna need you to like give me Sheets functions that seem like they were this was a program built at least in 2024, right? Like come on, let's do this." And this for me is slightly the answer to that. Like it's true, it's not in Sheets, it's not anywhere near it's not anywhere near, like I would say Sheets, trying to get Sheets to analyze stuff from Gemini, from the Gemini conversation, is much more difficult than this is just an environment that you're not used to seeing, but literally it will hold your hand. So that's my B about it. I got others, but that
I
was
do.
my big boom.
Carl, do you want to go next? Or you want me to show one real quick?
You can show one real quick. I have like two in the same platform.
Yeah,
So
I do too. Sort of the same thing. All right, I'll show one since Claude 4 was announced yesterday, or right yesterday. Jeez, everything this week's been a blur. Yesterday, I thought, hey, let's nope, wrong one. Sorry, that's screen. Here we go. I thought, hey, you know what? Let's just see what Claude 4 can do. So you can see my prompt at the top. I'll read it to you. It's super long. Show me the coolest demo of what Claude 4 Opus can do right now. Blow me away. That's literally the thing. And it came out and it said, yeah, I'm going to create you an interactive 3D solar system visualization that showcases Claude's ability to build complex, beautiful experiences from scratch. This will demonstrate advanced graphics, physical simulation, and real-time interactivity. And then it built this in. It doesn't give me a time in here, but I quite literally started it well after Beth was showing just that last demo. So I literally thought, let me just open up Claude really quick. This wasn't even on my list of things to do. And here we go with a super 3D zoom in, zoom out representation of, well, let's fix that. Oh no. There we go. That's a little better. We can show asteroids or no asteroids. We can zoom in. We can click on one of the planets and get more information about it. We can reset the view here. We can speed up the time to it. It's really cool because you'll actually even see like Saturn come across, like, yeah, see how like thing will come right across your screen, kind of a cool 3D image of it. I mean, look, this is just a good example of how mind-blowingly good models like Claude 4 are getting. Now, I use this on Opus. I know that I would have some sort of upper limitation of how much of Opus I could use versus Sonnet. I don't know what that is. I hadn't used it yet. So this is quite literally the first thing I have tried to build or use as far as it. But it's just, I think, there's always the back and forth of people saying like, oh, don't sleep on this model. I mean, God knows we've seen some amazing things with Gemini. ChatGPT they do a good job of staying relevant and staying in the news. Or I shouldn't say ChatGPT, OpenAI stays relevant, staying in the news. And they had sort of a commercial that went out this week about I/O, which is not Google I/O, is what they're kind of merging with Jimmy. I mean, Anyway, the guy who made the iPhone and developed what the iPhone looked like. And it's apparently going to be something that hangs around your neck and is kind of like the pin, but not the pin. We'll have to see. It's not coming out till next year. So it's definitely not a be about it today, right? But like they stay in the news quite a bit. And then we see like what Claude is doing, what Anthropic is putting out, and they're putting out new models as well. And I think if nothing else, like this is a good example of like why you should go keep playing with all of them. Perplexity, Claude. Next week, we're going to talk about Microsoft and Copilot, which we don't honestly talk probably enough on this show about. We spend our time a lot of times with a lot of the other tools. But next week, we're going to be talking about all the major players. And so we'll go deep dives, obviously, into Claude. We're going to not even look at Gemini. We're going to look at Gemini Ultra and what it can do with things like Project Manor. So that's all coming up next week. Just wanted to let people know. But I mean, what? This was like 3 minutes and I could build a visualization for this. So talk about real world, be about it today. What if my daughter was learning this right now in school and she asked me questions and said, Dad, I'm struggling with homework or something? This is a very real world in your house example of how you could quickly use something like Claude 4 to help demonstrate whatever it is that you're trying to convey over to your kids. I will say as a parent, one of the hardest things is trying to answer questions faithfully, but without making stuff up. You guys hear me mess up stuff all the time on this show. It's hard being a parent. Like you're trying to do your best, but the reality is now you can use AI as part of that solution to say like, well, this is how I think about it, but let's just see if we can build a quick visualization of the planets orbiting the sun so you can see what that looks like. And oh my God, look at all these asteroids that are there too. So just wanted to bring that up. It's just an invite, honestly, to keep going and playing, and don't settle into any one tool, because you're going to miss out on things that other tools can do. So that's my first one. Carl, what do you got?
Okay. Let's see. Where am I going to share? I'll share. Okay. Tell me when we're up. I'll see it when we have. Okay. So just move over here. So the first one I want to show is I follow. I'm connected with a CMO at a major home building company in the States, Taylor Morrison. I don't know if any of you follow Stephanie McCarty, but she just put an app idea down and she said, hey, an app that's like Tinder, but for matching marketers with buzzwords they'll bat in 6 months. I was like, okay, I don't know how useful this is, but I was like, hey, let's try it with 3 things I know work. So let's go try it with Lovable and right. Not bad. I thought this was kind of cool. And then I went to Opus 4, right? That's pretty good too. I don't know why they keep doing that. And then I ran this on 2.5 Pro. And it's pretty, it was just something that I thought that was really neat. And I know that O3 with Canvas, sometimes it didn't work that well. Like I actually had to code the thing myself. So I'm like, that doesn't count. If I have to go into VSC and code whatever thing myself, I'm like, nope, that doesn't count. So all of this was just with one prompt, right? 1, 2, 3. So I thought like just from a idea that somebody had, hey, an app that does this. So I think like whenever we go into prospect presentations now, we're like, AI can't necessarily, you would not replace developers, but if you have some personal thing, an MVP, a prototype, this is what you could do with it. So that's one. And then
I feel like I want to say, if you want to see our take on hyper personalization, go watch our sales hyper personalization show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel
That was
called
like,
out.
what was
stupid made me like, I ran out of Opus credits. So like the rate limit on that is like 5 or 6. Cause it's like, no, so I was like, fine, I'll throw in I put in another $140 just for this month to like, it's like, God, it's so Brian, if you did that in one shot, you probably only have like 4 or 5 left for the next maybe 6 hours. and they'll be like, oh, until 3 p.m. or whatever that the stupid thing is kind of ridiculous. So I use this example as usually like for businesses, like, hey, if you have a significant deck, I really like how Claude creates for you. So it's like if you want to do interactive presentations, if you do reports a lot, this is an example of Sonnet 3.5. This is a while back, a presentation I did, and I use this. Then this is 3.7. But I thought this is usually the first test that I want to see what it does. This is 3.4, like Opus 4. And that's like what this does with one shot. And I haven't even used it in Cursor yet. I just installed it this morning or yesterday. I was playing with it briefly. Outstanding. So it's like for people who don't code again, and you want things to do or have ideas, Opus 4, if you have a really good idea, I would pay just for 1 month. Don't just try it. Pay the $140, go to town. You may even have to go up to the $200. Really, really explore, like push the capabilities of this, because I think like what Opus 4 came out with was pretty outstanding. And Google Gemini is not bad either. So anyway, that's kind of my demo.
Is 140 the code or the
no?
The max?
So this is in Canada. I don't know if it's the same, but for Claude, if you want the next tier after Pro, which is Max, it's 140 Canadian. And then if you want, I forgot what it's called, like Max something else, then it's there's a little toggle. So you're still on Max, but it's like Max Pro or you get 20x more usage than 5x.
Okay.
So they only have a Max plan, and then they have a Max 20x plan.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Everybody froze for a second.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, you can jump into. I got other ones too that are like more Google related, but yeah, keep going.
All right, let me wrap up with my other one that tickled me. Now, this is basically from the history bin, because both of these examples have existed for a little while. All right, and they deal on the ML side, but because of that, we can see that they've been proven out a little bit. And let me go ahead and see if I can share this. Of course, it doesn't want the tab. Give me 1 second. Sorry. What I have learned is if I don't have the window actually open. So here is a group called FlukeBook. All right. Called Tweet a Whale. All right. And they've been around for a couple of years now. But what's so fun about this group is basically what you do is you take a picture of any whale that you see, particularly like the tail fin, and you can submit it to these folks, and they will use their AI to identify the exact whale. That's how unique this tail fin is, right? And so so if you go to their site, it's all about conservation. It's all about research, right? This is a science group, and the big thing that they're doing here is, because of being able to identify all the whales out there, they can move forward further into their research, conservation, and being able to do better collaboration between cetacean scientists or researchers and things like that. And to just show how easy it is, this is it. You just take the picture and submit it, and they will they'll provide they'll do the matching and identify the whale for you. So maybe you've seen a whale they've already submitted, and you can see that they've already submitted like 85,000 whales. And so what I really found, what I really found interesting about this, beyond that it's whimsical and it's AI and science, but it's the collaborative effort, right? These sort of have a theme. It's a collaborative effort of the citizenry with the science community using AI to further science, further research, and hopefully further better environmentalism or discovery of new drugs or new cures for diseases and things like that. But this kind of taps into our collective, and one of the reasons why AI can be a force for good. But I understand it's a bit on the more whimsical side and doesn't fix a particular application in somebody's lives. But if you ever if you ever see a whale, take a picture, because scientists want to know. All right, that's what I've got for today.
And you said it's FlukeBook?
Yes.
Is that what you said? That's
Yeah.
adorable.
Yeah.
So, Beth, what do you got up next?
All right. I have. Oh, I already shared it.
Oh, same screen?
Yep.
Do you want me to do it? You do it.
Yeah, go do it. Thank you. Okay, so this is a tweet by Luke Harries, and they say the most underrated developer platform is Apple Shortcuts on your phone. Why? It runs fully locally, meaning it's free, secure, and private. And so what they did was create basically it's a mix of low code and no code. They created something that would record audio, transcribe audio, and then copy it to the clipboard so that you could do stuff with it. This is a fairly simple thing, but he doesn't actually go into how he does it. Like he shows us the what it looks like in Apple Shortcuts. So the other piece of this is that with all tweets, you can click this little circle, which takes you to Grok, and it already assumes you mean explain this tweet to me.
Are you still showing the same screen, or did you switch?
Yeah.
I'm still seeing Colab.
Yeah.
Oh,
there we go.
All right. Nope. Share this tab instead, because I really was showing this. This is Luke Harries. This is what it looks like. This is what the shortcut looks like on his phone screen. And so record audio, get contents, get value, and then down here, copy to the clipboard. So I thought that was interesting, but I wanted a little more detail. So up here, I click the Grok icon, and it takes me to my Grok conversation. And look at me sharing the tab without Jumi or Brian telling me that I have not yet. And again, this is literally a prompt built in when you click that. So this is the explanation. I say, can I create a shortcuts workflow that transcribes the screen capture of a video and creates a mem.ai note, which is actually what I would love to have happen when I'm reading. Yes, when I'm reading TikTok. I'm not reading TikTok. When I'm reading Twitter or X, it says this is how I might do that, and gives me the actual information about how to do that. So this is not only a really cool thing. If you got an iPhone, go ahead and do stuff with your iPhone. But also, if you don't know what they're talking about and you want to know more detail, Grok is actually really good at explaining the context because it's been trained on the history of Twitter, right? So it has access to the actual tweets, and they also are really good at writing out step-by-step instructions. So even sometimes when there are tutorials, I will say, Grok, make this more fine-tuned for me. I need, like, my favorite is ELI 12. Explain to me like I'm 12 years old, please. Because it doesn't do once upon a time like
Yeah.
it does with explain to me like I'm 5, but it also doesn't say go talk to a developer, please. So that's
Yeah,
my
you've talked quite a bit about how Grok has been like a super useful tool, just like you just showed. I mean, you were showing the demo, which I think is actually super cool with the shortcuts. I've only built 1 or 2 shortcuts, but this is making me think I'm way underutilizing that aspect. Hey, I upgraded to the 16 just so I could have the advancements in Apple AI. So maybe this will be cool too. And I can just build it myself. And I really only needed an Apple 12 to do this, iPhone 12 to do it. But you were saying about that, like that you use Grok that way with like the further explainer, and it's actually pretty cool. So they're like I think that's 2 in 1, right? Like you
Right.
sort of have like, hey, it's not just Twitter or X, however you want to say it. You also have this like sort of actually kind of cool built-in AI mode that can help you dive deeper into some of these topics without really leaving the platform, which I always think is like, that's sort of a meet the user where they are. Like, don't make them go out to some Grok. Do you want to open this up in the Grok standalone app? No. I just
Yeah.
want you to tell me right here. And by the way, when I'm done, what I think what Facebook does well is when I'm done, I want to go right back to where I just was. I want to take a quick side quest. I want to learn, and I want to close that window so I can continue on whatever I was previously doing. Facebook does that good. X does that good. LinkedIn, horrible.
No.
Horrible. They open up in another tab, and then they go one step further for you and reload your previous tab, even though you didn't ask them to. So LinkedIn to me is the worst, and it like this or a Facebook is the best because they learn pretty quickly to just build it natively in there and make the user experience better.
LinkedIn owned by Microsoft.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over engineering a problem? No, not Microsoft.
So the other thing, shout out to Jude. That was also totally free. Free Grok. I don't pay for X. I realize that people have feelings about X and Elon. But in terms of money, I haven't spent any money in anything that I've shown yet today.
Which is impressive. It was really impressive. So what I'm about to show would take some money because this requires the higher level of what we just saw come out with VO3 with Google. But I mean, like, this is what's so amazing about the internet and people and creativity. I'm always blown away. I mean, I don't know, maybe this guy had access earlier than the rest of us. Sometimes we see that with like an Ethan Malik and stuff. So that's fine. Like maybe he had 2 weeks to work with this new thing. We see that roll out so that some really cool use cases like this kind of almost drop at the same time that it's being announced. I don't honestly care. What I think is super cool is how people are immediately thinking about how to be creative with VO3. So now, okay, VO3, you would need the highest level of Google Gemini, which is now called, I think that's Ultra, right? Do I have the right word for that? I think it's Ultra. And so that they have a half off right now, but that would be at like the $300 level. So the complete opposite of what Beth just said is no, I didn't just spend any money. But I'm not going necessarily on like what it would cost you to do it. It's more that is it available and is it out there right now? So I don't know, obviously, how much this was cherry picked. There's always that part of it too. But let's just look at some examples of how good. We already knew how good VO2 was. I was just calling it Google Video FX, and now it's been rebranded as Flow. But now we're adding audio to those videos, and I'm frankly blown away. I cannot wait to go play with this more. But let's just look a little bit about this idea about what if the AI videos became self-aware and started realizing that they're really just being built by prompting. So let's just watch this really quick.
We're made of prompts. Like, seriously, dude, you're saying the only thing standing between me and $1 billion is some random text?
Honestly, the biggest red flag is when the guy believes in the prompt theory. Like, really? We came from prompts? Wake up, man.
You want to convince me that this perfect creation behind me is the result of ones and zeros? A binary code and nothing more? It makes no sense.
Imagine you're in the middle of a nice date with a handsome man and then he brings up the prompt theory. Yuck. We just can't have nice things.
We're not prompts. We're not prompts.
Where is the prompt writer to save you from me? Where is he? You still believe we're made of prompts?
Anyone who tells you we're just ones and zeros is delusional. If that's all we are, then why does it hurt when we lose someone?
Vote for me and I'll ban the prompt theory from schools. There's no place for that nonsense in our lives.
That last one is a real video from Florida, just want to say. No, it's not, but give it time, folks. Give it time. So I live in Florida. I'm allowed to say that. But my point is to it is like, these are videos that people are creating, and that's just a small sample and of only one person that's creating videos right now with sound involved in them. I've seen so many really, really cool creative examples. And it's just going to show, I mean, you know, how long ago we showed the recreation, the person who made the recreation of the, what was the company with the bear, the polar bear and the diving in the ice
Vicks.
water, and what was it?
Vicks, right.
And then we even had people from our community building their own versions of that. And now you look at this and you go, oh, okay, now we can put it like, some of those are better than others. You know, some of them seem a little more realistic, like the two that were the comedy ones I thought were really, really well done. So I just think this is super cool. And it definitely does qualify as a, you can do this now. Do you have the ability or desire to pay to do it? That's up to you, but it's literally live. Can use it right now, turn it on type AI type features, which I think is super cool. And then I'm just going to switch over to this one. And this is for Cisco, because he said when I showed the Star Trek, or when I showed the solar thing earlier, he said, oh, it reminds me of Star Trek The Next Generation. So yeah, let's just do that then. So Claude said, yeah, I got you. I can do an intro for Star Trek and then have you go into warp drive and play around with the stars from it. So it actually built its own intro and does a nice little graphic here, and then has you come in where you can explore the solar system. And now as I move my mouse, actually without even me clicking a button,
Well, you
Brian,
put your.
we can't see it, Brian.
I thought it was.
I put it on screen. Cool.
Okay.
Oh, that's weird. Why wasn't? I wonder why I wasn't showing that. I apologize. Let me show the intro again. I thought I just switched over the tab, not stop sharing. I apologize. So anyway, just showing that, like, I mean, this is a significant improvement in colors and depth of colors and graphics and stuff just from the version 1 that it had originally given me. And now you can go in, like I said, you can explore the stars, and by just moving my mouse, I can kind of move around here, you know, something super fun. So I think this is another great example of, you know, if your child happens to be into a particular topic, or has a love. My nephew, not as much anymore. He's like, you know, a junior in high school. But when he was younger, I would dare anybody to know more about dinosaurs than he did. I think he still, if he wanted to, and it didn't feel like it was uncool or something, could recite verbatim, you know, like all the dinosaur names. And I mean, he was amazing at it. And he was like 7 at the time. You know, and so that's what he loved, man. If you wanted to talk dinosaurs, he was all in, you know, and it was super fun because he would teach me stuff as the uncle and stuff. But now I look at things like this and I go, oh, okay, so hold on. He has to know this other topic that he has zero interest in school, but I can make it with dinosaurs, and I can do it in under 3 minutes and probably have something that's at least visually interesting to hold his attention and make it click for him. So the next time he may be taking a test or otherwise, he's thinking about dinosaurs and how everything interacts. Come on, this stuff is going to just, among other things, is going to really revolutionize education, because now that teachers have the ability to use something like this and instantly call up an idea. If there's a crowdsourced idea in a classroom and a teacher knows they have a tool like Claude that they can use, they could be like, yeah, hold on a second. That's a great idea. Let's see if we can do that. What do you guys think the prompt should be for that? And then you have interaction with the class, and then you literally build the thing live, and everybody had buy-in it. To me, this is like, we have all the tools now to really, really revolutionize a whole area. like education, all the way through all the levels too, So I had that one. I had one more I was going to show you guys really quick because this one was in the news. This is sort of a hit or miss. Google has their try it on feature now. So make sure it's on the screen this time. So the image I gave it was this one. It says you should do a full body image. This is the first one I could find from quite a while ago when my daughter and I were over at Feeding Tampa Bay, which is a great nonprofit if you ever want to look them up. But it said you had to be full body. So this is the first one I found. I would say these are not great results. So there is the image of, you can see over here on the left of like what I wanted to virtually try on. And this is sort of how I put it on me. Here's the initial again. So you can see it's changed the pants. Obviously it's changed the top, right? So that one's not bad. Then you have this one, which again, it decided I needed dark pants to go with this top, which I thought was interesting because it was really only about the top at this point. Looking suave in my linen tan suit here. Not too terribly bad. I don't know what's in my hands, and God, you can barely see it at the bottom, but it's got me now in flip-flops. Yeah, try to catch me dead in flip-flops in a tan linen suit. We'll see what happens. But it decided that's what I should be wearing. Now we're starting to get into Pirates of the Caribbean. This is definitely not a good representation of this picture. This is what I said try on. This is what it gave me. So it's something you can literally go do. Like, how would you go use this right now? You got to go to search up, because it's part of the Google search labs, which is different than the regular Google labs. So if you want to go try this for yourself, literally anybody can. No, it doesn't cost you any money. Yes, you would have to upload an image, but not technically of yourself. You could use some other full-bodied image of somebody else if you're, for data privacy or whatever. But the idea here being, and we're only going to see this more and more play out, not only in the virtual space, we're going to see it in the physical space too. Like, not everybody wants to go into a changing room. Some people are going to be busier. Some people got 3 kids on their arms while they're also trying to buy the bathing suit for the upcoming season. So you could imagine standing in front of a mirror that in a Target that already has this type of technology in it, as a busy mom or dad or something like that who can't get into the changing room to figure it out. There will be ways to do that. Now, maybe a bathing suit was a poor idea for a public mirror that's out, but you know what I'm saying, right? So like, you can do this virtually, which I think is great. Obviously, Amazon is already, putting this into it, but this is something you can go test for yourself. When you do the search, look for try it on. And then I would say Google search labs is what you want to say for that. And you should find the link that gets you there. It took me a little bit because I was looking in Google experimental labs and it's not there. It's not where you find like Project Mariner, if you know what that is, and the other things that are in there. It was at a different place, which is slightly confusing. So wanted to share that. What else do you guys have?
Carl, you said you had a second one?
I do. I have one. Here. I don't know if anyone tried or got the new invite to the AI agent tool called FlowWith. So I just DM'd them on X to get the invite. I think you have to have an invite code to actually use it. And out of Manus and GenSpark, this was the only one that got what I was looking for. So essentially my presentations, what I want to do is I want to showcase all the releases since January, to show like the business leaders I'm presenting to, like how fast AI is moving. And what I notice is a lot of the time, it may get all the releases right, but it doesn't give me an interactive presentation. Like that's kind of like, I want all the releases plus interactive presentation. So this one actually did quite well. And it provided me an interactive presentation, which it gave me several of them, but I think it's here. There it is. And then you can kind of see how they kind of plot, well, I don't know. They didn't plot this one, but they plotted a couple ones above. I asked it to do a couple other stuff. So this isn't bad with all the things that it came out with. And again, similar to Claude, but I just wanted to do this because I wanted to do a search and then I wanted to create the report on this. I don't want to use deep research for something. I think that this should be faster because I don't want to spend 15 minutes trying to wait for that. So I thought this was an interesting tool. I need to test it a little bit more than because I use GenSpark quite a lot, but this is the thing.
What was the name of the tool again? I think I missed it earlier.
This is called FlowWith.
FlowWith, and you can get a beta invite from, or an alpha invite version of it from their Twitter.
It was pretty popular, but you need to get that invite. Just send them a note on X, like DM them and say, hey, I'd like an invite. They'll give you an invite. They were releasing invites for a while, but then they stopped. So I think they kind of ran into something. And so here,
yeah,
and this
they
is
went
in the
viral.
same vein as Manus and GenSpark.
Yeah, Manus, GenSpark. So in that vein, they gave me 20,000 credits. I don't know how much credits each of these requests do, but it's really neat how they actually, you can see kind of, they're a little different because you can see the process. It's a bit of a pain to see the process, but you can see the process and then you can interject and add in their timeline here, which is kind of interesting. So, and then what they actually did to do that research. So I thought that was like, oh, that's pretty neat while you can see it doing. Do you remember all those tools before, like God Mode, Cognisys, and all that, where these were like early 2023? They said they were doing something, but you didn't believe them because they never did anything. I think it's kind of crazy. We're in 2025. We have a Manus, a GenSpark, this to actually go out and quote unquote like be your agent to actually execute. Now I know people have been creating videos with this too, but I haven't really pressed the issue on this just because I'm using GenSpark, but this is out, so I want to try it too. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's super.
Yeah, I definitely want to try it.
Gareth is saying that that's not actually how they're giving things out. He says, "I give you a code, Junmi." But
thank you.
No. If you send them a DM, they'll give it to you because I sent them a DM. So I'm like, hey, blah blah blah, and then they gave it to me, and then I talked to a couple other people. Go get yourself. Like send them a note. They give you an invite code if you send them a DM. So like,
cool.
Send them a note if you give it a shot.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay. So look, we're gonna wrap it up there. Like we were saying, a couple announcements here. Like we were saying, next week we are going to dive deep into Microsoft, Anthropic, Google, thank you. I was like, not OpenAI, Google. The other one. I mean, we'll bring up OpenAI as it's relevant, but we do feel like we talk about OpenAI probably more, than some of the other ones. So we want to take a moment next week to spend an actual show diving deep into it. So we're gonna have a lot more on Google, Anthropic, and Microsoft. Hopefully, I am very hoping, fingers crossed, not only will we be able to show some demos of VO3 and what that can do for Ultra, but also I think more crucially, Project Mariner. So keep an eye out for that next week when we get into Project Mariner. It's kind of like Operator. It's a Chrome extension, and you don't see a lot on YouTube about it unless it was 5 months ago. But that's something we can play with right away if you're at that tier. So that's coming up next week as well. Hey, don't forget today we have the Sci-Fi AI show coming up at it'll be 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific with Jimmy and Beth and whoever else is on the show today as well. Tomorrow we'll have, it's not a live show, but on Saturdays we do what's called the Conundrum Show, just a sort of a passion project of mine. Love putting them out there. We take a interesting thought concept, something that you could debate on both sides, but doesn't necessarily have an easy answer or an easy middle. That's what I kind of feel like is fun about conundrums, and AI is chock full of them. So on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, we'll release our next conundrum episode where you're going to hear two AI co-hosts debate it back and forth. And so it's kind of fun. It's a little meta. It's not us live. It's just something we do extra. And then not as far as the channels like Spotify or YouTube, but If you want to get our newsletter, which is this Sunday will be issue number 51, which means I've almost been doing this for a full year. You can go ahead and sign up for our newsletter. It's free, and you get a whole lot more than what you're just getting in the show this week. It's more than just recaps. So if you're thinking, oh, I already saw the shows, it's a lot more than that. So I recommend you sign up for that. That's at thedailyishow.com. You can sign up for that newsletter. If you want to sign up or if you want to join our free community and keep the conversations going beyond the live chat if you can't make it, or just over the weekend and generally outside of this live hour that we do 5 days a week, well, then go to the dailyishowcommunity.com and you can sign up and join our Slack community. So all sorts of different ways beyond this 1 hour-ish that we do 5 days a week that you can be part of the community, part of the conversation, come up with ideas for shows that you think we should do, and a whole bunch more. So look, this is a big community. You guys are important, and we want to bring everybody into the conversation. Yes, Beth, go ahead and wrap it up.
I just want to special shout out today to first time chatters. To my memory, are Nell Tito from the Philippines and Next. Thanks for joining. And hope to see you next time too. And everyone else in the chat, thanks so much. Come, say you're here. We will greet you and make puns with you. Come pun with us.
It's a good time. Our chat group is a good time outside of the show. So yeah, keep doing it. Jimmy, what you got for us?
Aloha.